Hello there, grade 12 Humes. Ma'am Karen Doctor here. Welcome to the subject where your critical minds and creative hearts collide. Welcome to your creative writing class.
This week's lesson focuses on Lesson 1 and 2 of your Module 1, but in this video, we will only discuss Lesson 1 found in pages 1 to 18 of your module. I hope you're holding your modules right now, grade 12. So creative writing, quarter 1, lesson 1 focuses on imagery, diction, figures of speech, and specific experiences to evoke meaningful responses. These are your learning objectives. After going through this lesson, you are expected to, number 1, use imagery, diction, figures of speech, and specific experiences to evoke meaningful responses from the readers. Number 2, analyze the imagery, diction, figures of speech, and specific experiences of the specific literary pieces. Number 3, write short paragraphs or vignettes using imagery, diction, figures of speech, and specific experiences. But before anything else, let us first define what is creative writing and how it differs from other forms of writing that we know. What is creative writing? Creative writing is any composing that goes beyond ordinary expert, editorial, scholarly, or specialized types of writing, normally distinguished by an accentuation or account make, character advancement, and the utilization of abstract tropes or with different customs of verse and poetics. It is workable for composing, for example, includes stories to be viewed as exploratory writing, despite the fact that they fall under news coverage in light of the fact that the substance of highlights is explicitly centered around account and character improvement. In other words, creative writing is different from other forms of writing that we know. Example, we have the editorial or the news. They fall under the journalism types of writing. But creative writing, we are employing some literary techniques. Example, your figures of speech and poetic freedom. We are employing them in our writing to create a more vivid experiences for our readers. In other words, kung sa Filipino pa, tinatawag nating matatalinhagang salita or flowery words. When they say, namumulaklak ang iyong mga sinasabi, it is creative writing in that sense. Ma'am, pwede mahimo ang facts into a creative writing? Yes, that is another forms of writing or exploring all the possible angles of the story. Example, ang natabo sa Marawi, the Marawi siege is such a very big news in our country. Paano mo siya mahimo nga timeless? When you say timeless, in all generations, pwede pa siya mabasa. In all other angles, pwede mo siya mabasa. Ang makitaan mo ang lain naman nga sense ng story. Paano mo siya mahimo nga timeless? Well, from that news, from that factual information that you receive from the news, you can make a feature article out of that. Imploring all the creative writing means, strategies, and techniques that you know. Let us now go to your sensory imagery or imagery in some of your English subjects previously. We call them imagery. So let us discuss what is imagery and how is imagery used in some of our creative writing. Sensory imagery includes the utilization of elucidating language to make mental pictures. In abstract terms, it is a sort of symbolism. The thing that makes is that tangible symbolism works by drawing in a reader's five senses. It is an artistic gadget that the author utilizes to draw in a reader's brain on numerous levels. This investigates the 5 human detects: the sight, sound, taste, contact, and smell. In other words, imagery or sensory imagery focuses on the 5 senses of a person. We have the sight, sound, the taste, the contact, and the smell. So how are we going to use them? We are going to use them to create a vivid, the term is vivid mental picture in the brain of the readers in order for them to imagine what you are writing, to imagine what you are expressing, and to let them feel what you feel as you express it in your writing. Example, when you say, Maria is beautiful, you do not say it right away that Maria is beautiful or she is beautiful. Pwede ka pa makahambal, panamiun mo pa na siya, pwede ka pa makahambal. She has a white complexion that is white as snow. Her hair is as black as ebony, and her lips is red as rose. Pero ano ang pa-create ni mo nga mental picture sa iya? The reader dayon ma-imagine, wow, white as snow, red as rose, black as ebony. What are you driving your readers to imagine? You are driving them to imagine that something or someone is very beautiful in your sight. So, hindi ka lang dayon directly nga mahambal nga she is beautiful. Pwede mo pa na siya mapanami, di ba? Okay, now, let us discuss the types of your sensory imagery. Okay, kinds of imageries. Number 1 is visual imagery, your sense of sight. Engages the sense of sight. Descriptions can be associated to visual imagery, just like physical attributes including color, size, shape, lightness and darkness, shadows, and shade. They are all part of visual imagery. Example, her phone signaled, immediately setting her teeth on edge. She looked at the broken screen, saw his name, and slapped the phone back on her desk. Imagine, gaano siya kuno? Nagasignal ang iyang phone. Siguro maybe nag-ring or nagsiga ang iyang phone. Tapos nag-ano siya? Naglantaw siya dayong ilantaw niya. Pagkalantaw niya, nag-ano iyang teeth at the edge. Amo na siya. She looked at the broken screen. Gilantaw niya ang screen sa iyang phone. Nga broken. Saw his name. Nakita niya dayon ang name sa nga dawag sa iya. And slapped the phone back down to the desk. So what do you imagine? Ano siguro ang feelings, the emotions that the writer tries to evoke? Siguro ano? Akig siya? Or maybe kung boyfriend niya to, may LQ sila, hindi niya gusto maistorya, or may sala sa iyang isa katao nga, hindi niya gusto maistorya even sa phone. And take note, the description is very vivid, nga broken ang screen, ang iyang teeth nagkadto sa edge. That is how you create a visual imagery. Now, next we have gustatory imagery. Engages the sense of taste. Flavors are the consideration in gustatory imagery, which includes the 5 basic tastes such as sweet, salty, bitter, sour, and umami, as well as the textures and sensations tied to the act of eating. Examples: the food tasted good. The sweet fondant icing melted on my tongue. The word delightful came to mind. Summer has always tasted like hot chocolate to me. His kisses tasted like strawberries under the sun. Gustatory imagery is commonly used for food blogs that you have seen or read in all magazines nga makita ninyo food blogs. Just like siguro sa mga inabalang biyahero with I don't know, hindi ko sure kung si Robbie Domingo or si Drew Arellano ang nag-vlog sila. Pero usually, they are using the gustatory imagery in evoking the sense of taste into its readers. So you say the food tasted good. Pero inagani, ang number one example is not really imagery. Number two, the sweet fondant icing melted on my tongue. Imagine, how would you imagine an icing melting on your tongue? Siguro dayon, ara dayon sa imo mind is meringue na nagamelt sa imo nga tongue. How does it taste? Very sweet siguro ng icing, kakatunaw which is sa akon nga tang. The word delightful came to mind, makapalipay. Summer has always tasted like hot chocolate to me. So when you say summer has always tasted like hot chocolate to me, meaning she is enjoying summer. Kasi as you enjoy the hot chocolate, di ba? His kisses tasted like strawberries under the sun. Oh, very romantic. Strawberries gadya under the sun, strawberries gadya ang iya nga kiss. So, ginaano niya, ginapatry niya ka-imagine, nga ano ang sabor sina. For example, masiling ka nga, it chills me to the bones. Ang iya nga, ang ice cream chills me to the bones. So, how cold is that ice cream, di ba? Next, we have auditory imagery. Engages the sense of hearing. Sound devices such as onomatopoeia and alliteration can help create sounds in writing. Okay, example. Eric sat alone at the bench nearest the main door so he wouldn't miss Via. The room was noisy. The clang of heavy dishes glided from the kitchen. Eyes tinkled as it settled in his water glass. His watch read 9:30. She wasn't coming. Nag-ano siya? Ginapatry niya ka-imagine. Siguro dire, there is an overlapping of sense of sight and hearing. Kaya amogin man na iyang imagery, it is overlapping all throughout your creative writing. Kaya you are using them all throughout your writing. So, gina-imagine mo nga, he is sitting alone at the bench. Ano lang niya ginalantaw, nagpungko gid siya lapit sa main door para nga makita niya kung mag-abot din man si Via. Ano ang room? It was noisy. Siguro people are chatting around, mabatian niya ang mga tao kung anong ilang yung gina-istoryahan. Then, may nagaklang ng mga dishes from the kitchen. Then, ang ice, imagine nyo ba lang ice nga nabutang sa glass, ng water? So, what is the sound of that ice? And, he watched his clock or watch. It's 9:30 and he realizes that she wasn't coming. Okay, next. Olfactory imagery. What is olfactory? Engages the sense of smell. Simile is commonly used in using olfactory imagery because it lets writers to compare a particular scent to common smells like dirt, grass, manure, or roses. The use of scents and stinks are common ways to use olfactory imagery. Examples. The scent of latik when my mother cooks rice cake is really nostalgic to me. The street going to their house stinks of manure and the courtyard of urine. The stairwell stank of moldering wood and rat droppings. Imagine. Okay, number one. The scent of latik when my mother cooks rice cake is really nostalgic to me. Would you imagine sang latik sa suman? When you are eating suman and then may smell sang latik, it's nostalgic kuno sa iya. It reminds him of his youth. And then number two, this is very common in the streets of the Philippines. The street going to their house stinks of manure and the courtyard of urine. The stairwell stank of moldering wood and rat droppings. Damo gini, especially sa cities, no? Going to Robinson's Place, Bacolod, maagi ka dito sa overpass, ma-smell gid nimo. So, using your sense of smell The readers, can imagine what you are trying to write. You are letting them imagine or visualize what you are trying to write by using their senses. Ma-imagine lang man nila if the smell is common to you. Ma-imagine naman nila if they have smell the same thing as you do, so they can go in your level, think of what you are thinking, and imagining what you are trying to imagine as well. Okay, next. Number 5. Tactile imagery. Engages the sense of touch, the feel, textures, and many sensations a human being experiences when touching something are associated in tactile imagery. Differences in temperature is also a part of tactile imagery. Example, when we quickly plunge into the cool water, it took our breath away and raised goosebumps to our arms. We had been swimming in this pond since we were kids. Okay, so tactile imagery. It uses temperature to evoke a specific feeling. So siguro summer tasted very hot, or 100 degrees, or I am chilling in 0 degrees. Pero usually naton makita or ma-read using tactile imagery. I know you know. 'Di ba? Sa mga romantic nga books nga aton nga mabasa, especially kung siguro sa una pa or naabdan nyo pa man siguro, when you are reading pocket books nga may mga romantic scenes na dire siya, there is touches, 'di ba? He kisses in my neck. Nagamamo bala sina nga may mga touches, may sense of emotions, nga ma-feel ka sensations nga ang human person maka-feel, natugnawan, naginutan, whatever, kag ano pagid, siguro nakilig. Those are sensations, those feelings, sensations, and textures ara na siya naton makita sa tactile imagery. Example, the soft, smooth, rough mga surfaces, those also belong to tactile imagery. Okay, next. May plus pa. In other references, there is a sixth sense which is called kinesthetic imagery, engages the feeling of movement. This can be similar to tactile imagery but deals more with full body sensation, such as those experienced during exercise. Example, rushing water, flapping wings, and pounding hearts are all examples of kinesthetic imagery. And naga-move ka bala? For example, naga-throb ang imong heart because of cardio exercises, so they belong to tactile image. Next, let us go to diction in writing. What is diction? Usually, mabatian natin siya sa criteria for judging, no? For example, you have experiences in joining declamation contest, ano pagid, smart talking, or extemporaneous speaking. Ara, ginapirmi sa aton nga criteria. Diction. Oh. Bisan sa singing, aton man mabatian nga diction. Gapangita sila sang proper diction. Usually mabatian ko ni siya when we are watching Tawag ng Tanghalan. May ara ginada siya nga, please improve your diction hambal sa mga hurado. So what is diction? Okay. Diction defined. Diction is the careful selection of words to communicate a message or establish a particular voice or writing style. For example, flowy, figurative languages creates colorful prose, while a more formal vocabulary with concise and direct language can help drive home a point. Okay, so diction in shorter terms is word choice. Paano ka magpili? How do you choose the right or appropriate word for your writing? What is really appropriate in creative writing? Kung maghimo ka ng story, maghimo ka ng novel, when you're writing a novel, for instance, what kind of words are you using? Kung maghimo ka naman news, what kind of words you are using? Lain-lain na sila because they are different forms of writing. So lain man sa creative writing ang imo nga gamiton, lain man sa more formal ways of writing. So how do you choose the words belongs to your diction. Okay. Different types of diction in writing. Let us discuss each and classify them on the way we are using them. Siguro nagasulat na kamo sa inyong mga notes, or you are trying to write a story nga inyo gidya nga ginhimo, originally made. So let us discover what are the types of writing diction, in writing ato nga ginagamit. Okay. Number 1, formal diction. Formal diction uses grammatical rules and uses proper syntax or formation of sentences. It is considered as a professional choice of words which can be found in legal documents like business correspondence and academic articles. Okay, formal diction uses proper syntax or word structure or in sentences. Grammatical rules, strictly observing grammatical rules. Sa diin na siya natin ginagamit. Example, news articles, editorial writing, other legal documents such as business writing. Ano na siyang mga kinds ng business correspondence? For example, you have project proposal, business email. Ginagamitan mo na siya tanan sa formal diction. Okay, next. We have informal diction. Informal diction is more conversational and often used in narrative literature. This casual vernacular is representative of how people communicate in real life, which gives an author freedom to depict more realistic characters. Most of the short stories and novels use informal diction to make it easier to understand by anyone, especially if the target audience is anyone. Okay, informal diction, ginagamit na siya in more conversational manner. For example, nga duga istorya ka lang bala in your writing. So, differ man na siya kung may target audience ka. Example, kung ang imo target audience are professionals, example your teacher, ang imo gina-view nga target reader, sila na may ara kagidya nga inang formal man sila nga group of people, then you will use formal diction. Pero kung anyone lang man, anyone can read, you can use informal diction because you can have it more conversational in such a way nga makagamit ka vernaculars or in such a way nga makagamit ka sa mga commonly used words nga hindi man siya ginagamit sa formal diction pero ginagamit mo siya in everyday use, so you can use that in informal diction. Okay, next, colloquial diction. So number 3 and number 4 can be overlapping with number 2 because in such a way the definitions are the same or interrelated. Okay, number 3, colloquial diction. These are expressions which are connected to informal. It is generally representing a particular region or place or era or period. Contractions in American English such as ain't instead of isn't is an example of colloquial expressions. The use of colloquialisms make writing more realistic. For example, you're gonna, I'm gonna dance tonight, or I wanna go out in a date. So you're gonna and wanna is not acceptable in formal language. Anong acceptable niya sina? Gonna is going to and wanna is want to. Pero magamit mo siya sa informal diction and it belongs to colloquial diction kay may ano gid siya. It is representing a particular region. Siguro ginagamit siya in that region or in that place, ginagamit siya dira, or that era, sa sina nga mga panahon or period. For example, ang imo na nga thyself, 'di ba? Sa usually sa Bible ta na makita kun ato pagid sa mga inang Old Testament nagagamit sila sang thy. Nga ang sa subong kung i-type mo na siya when you are writing and when you are typing in your computer, i-type mo na siya, ma-read na siya. Kaya nga hindi siya acceptable in formal language. Kay sang una pa to siya nga panahon, ginagamit siya sa una nga panahon. Remember that language is arbitrary. Magsiling ka arbitrary, it changes from time to time. Samtang nga nagalakat ang panahon, ga-change siya. Sang una, when you say luxurious gid siya, ginagamit gid siya nga term as luxurious, meaning kwan ka gid, you are spending much on your wardrobe, your bags, your shoes, pero subong naga-evolve na siya, pwede mo na magamit ang emeldefic. What is emeldefic? Halin ina, nag-root na siya kay Imelda Marcos. Kaya si Imelda Marcos is luxurious, subong acceptable na siya in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, ang emeldefic meaning luxurious siya. So our language is evolving. Samtang nagagamit kasi na nga nagagamit, it becomes relatable to all people and it becomes acceptable. Okay, number 4. Okay, this is another informal one, slang diction. Slang is very informal language or specific words used by a particular group of people. You'll usually hear slang spoken more often than you'll see it put in writing. Though emails and texts often contain many conversational slang words. Exclusive siya sa group of people, just like gay lingo. You may not understand it right away because that language belongs to a certain group of people. Siguro ang aton ng mga friends ng mga gay, sila lang na yung maka-understand sila. So that is slang. Pero as we say, naga-evolve ang aton nga language, maybe wala nato nabalaan, their words or those words coming from that particular group of people may then be used in a formal setup. Siguro, we don't know, di ba? What will happen? Okay, next. Poetic diction. This is the favorite type of diction of William Shakespeare, di ba? Hemingway, Wordsworth, sila ni. Okay, poetic diction. Poetic diction is driven by melodious words that identify with a particular subject reflected in a sonnet and make a musical or agreeable sound. It generally includes the utilization of elucidating language, in some cases set to a beat or rhyming. Maghambal ka bala, very rhyming, poetic ka lang yun. So you have spoken poetry that is very poetic, nag-rhyme siya sa end. Ang mga sonnet, we have two kinds of sonnets, the Patriarchan sonnet and Shakespearean sonnet, and we will discuss them in the lessons to come pa naton. So i-discuss na sila isa-isa. So poetic diction, please makasiling ka, magbasa ka bala sa mga poems. Magbasa ka sa mga poems, there are words nga utod, ang dreamen na lang na siya, may apostrophe lang sa mga songs because songs are poems in the basic structure. Gibutangan mo lang na siya melody. That is why it is created into a song. So, manotice nimo acceptable ni siya into formal language nga may dreaming, giamo niya lang na ang heaven ginkuha niya to ang V gin have hand, amo na lang na siya, acceptable siya in poetic diction. Yes, in formal language, no, acceptable siya because we have the word poetic freedom. A poet can create his own words. Maka-create siya nga niya own words. Maka-structure man siya in his own. Kung ginapangkat niya na, makita nyo na sa mga poems nga aton nga ginabasa, nga in the line, Sa sina nga line, hindi siya complete ang thought. Ang sugpo niya ato sa dalom, that is called enjambment. Ang sugpo niya ato sa dalom. Nga kung kitaya nga mga beginners ang mag-write some poem, we see to it that the line expresses a complete thought because naanad kita sa sentence construction. But in poetic language, we are exercising poetic freedom nga kung sa diin, we can create our own structure of lines. Okay. I hope you're learning with me. Okay, so my slides are loading. Next, figures of speech. Okay, this is very familiar to you, and I hope you have learned something from your English classes previously about figures of speech, and this is very interesting. Ginagamit na ni siya permi without noticing it, without consciously using it, pero gina-use na siya. Okay, figures of speech is a rhetorical device that achieves a special effect by using words in a distinctive way. So in this video, I will be presenting 20 of figures of speech, pero there are hundreds of them. Kamu na lang sila ma-discover someday when you will be studying linguistics in your college career. So pila ka adlaw, kamu na lang sila ma-study. Pero sa subong in your senior high school, with regards with your module, I will only be discussing 20. Okay, number 1 is alliteration. Okay. Alliteration is a sound device actually. It creates a unique sound device. The repetition of an initial consonant sound. Okay. Initial consonant sound. Magsiling ka nga initial consonant sound. Ang first consonant sound, it is repeated many times in a sentence. Example, Betty Butter bought some butter. Or your Peter, basta mo na pickled pepper, something like that. So, it is using Betty, the sound of b. So, Betty bought some butter. Okay, so it uses the initial consonant sound of b. Okay, next, anaphora. The repetition of the same word or phrase at the beginning of successive clauses or verses. Iniya words gid ang gina-repeat. Example, unexpectedly, we were in the wrong event, at the wrong time, on the wrong day. What is the word that is constantly repeated? The word wrong. Okay, unexpectedly, we were in the wrong event, at the wrong time, at the wrong day. Ginagamit na siya natin sa mga poems, no? Poetic languages. Okay. Number 3, antithesis. The combination of two different elements to attain equilibrium or balance. Example, as Abraham Lincoln said, folks who have no vices have very few virtues. Vices and virtues are two different things, two different elements. Pero ginagamit na siya in fact, contrasting gani sila, no? Vice, di ba? Vices, bisyo, and virtues, maayo nga pamantasan. They are constructing. They are contrasting elements sila. Lain ang isa in a positive way, ang isa in a negative way, but we are using them in one sentence only, that is antithesis, to attain equilibrium and balance. Next, apostrophe. Directly stating or calling a non-existent person or an inanimate object as though it were a living being. It commonly uses an exclamation point as a punctuation. Example, oh, rain, rain, where are you? Rain, we really need you right now. Our town needs you badly. Anong gina-call niya? It is calling what? The rain. Rain is a non-existent person. Kaya hindi man siya person. It is an inanimate object. When you say inanimate object, non-living object siya. So, ginatawag mo siya as if nagakabuhi siya. As if tao siya nga ginatawag mo siya. Example, ano pa yan? Si Rizal. Rizal, we need you right now. Our country is in need of young blood like you. Ah, Rizal is a long time ago dead, 'di ba? Patay na siya. Pero you are calling him just like an existent person nga ara pa siya. So that is apostrophe. Okay, next. Assonance. It is the repetition of the vowel sounds in the structure of sentences or lines. Okay, vowel sound naman ni siya. Pero wala siya naghambal nga sa initial. Pwede siya usually aragad siya sa median. Ara siya sa tunga-tunga. For example, when you are using the vowel a, all throughout, ga-repeat ka sa a. When you're using the vowel e, you are using e all throughout in the repetition or the long e. Ginagamit mo siya. Example, we shall meet on the beach to reach the beach concert. Long e ang iya ginagamit. Take note, meet is using long e, beach is using also long e, reach is also having long e, and meet is also using long e. So repetitive ang paggamit sa vowel sound. Okay, next. Number 6, we have chiasmus. Bisan ako, bago ko lang nabatian, pero sige lang, we will learn all together. Okay, chiasmus. A sentence or line structure where the half of the statement is balanced against the other. Example, the noble teacher said teachers should live to teach, not teach to live. Balance siya. Diinda ang nagpa-balance sa iya, balance sa structure niya. Live to teach and teach to live. Diba? Balance siya. Giano niya lang, the same words ang ginagamit niya, pero ginaano niya lang, ginabaliktad niya lang, gina-interchange niya lang ang placing sa mga words, pero it's using the same words. Okay, that is chiasmus. Next, euphemism. The use of subtle and unoffensive words to conceal or replace the offensive words in a statement. Ginagamit yun inhiligay nun nang galing siguro. Nagamit yun pero unnoticed, unconsciously, we are using it. Okay. Example. We're teaching our toddler how to go potty, Bob said. The use of the word potty is euphemism. Instead na magsiling ka nga, ginatudloan ta sila kung paano mamusuon. No? Pero ang ginagamit mo, gina-hide mo siya, gina-conceal mo siya, para nga daw magnami lang pamatian. So, pati, hindi man siya kalain pamatian, no? Hindi man siya nga daw sakit sa dalunggan pamatian or madigwa ka dayon. Pero, ang iyang meaning, the same. However, you are using a lighter meaning of the words. You are using a word nga medyo light lang yung iyang meaning, hindi siya terribly nga meaning. Okay, next. Number 8, hyperbole. An overstatement. The use of exaggerated terms for the purpose of emphasis or heightened effect. Okay, example. I have a ton of homework to do when I get home. I need to go home now. Ton of homework. As in, 1,000 kilos kaya sa homework ang imong obrahon. So that is what? Overstatement or exaggeration. For example, I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. Diba? Maka-eat ka kuno sang horse kuno, ma-eat mo na bala ang horse. Or, I have cried a million tears. Or I have cried a bucket of tears last night. Is that possible for it to happen? Siguro hindi. That is exaggeration. Next, number 9, irony. It is a statement or situation where the meaning is contradicted by the appearance or showing the concept. The use of words to convey the opposite of their literal meaning is the highlight of irony. We have two kinds of irony. We have the verbal irony and the non-verbal irony. Magsiling kaya nga non-verbal irony. Masiling ka, hala, kagwapa sa iyan, no? Pero ang itsura mo, wala ka nalipay. Or masiling, I'm so happy. Pero wala ka nalipay. Your face is not expressing the same thing na dapat ni mo ma-express. That is non-verbal irony. Pero magsiling ka naman yung verbal irony that is in the words that we say or in the words that we write in our writing. Example, Talia received a very high grade in her quiz, resulting that her mother got mad. Oh, nag-high siya kung naka-receive siya high grades, pero nagngakig iya nga mama. So, would you believe nga naka-receive siya ayhan high grades? Siguro wala, basi kwan lang na inang ginhide nga emotion, no? Ginhide lang. Pero, nangakig iya nga mama. So, meaning, low ang grades nga iya nga nabaton. Okay, number 10. Like totes. An understatement in which an affirmative is expressed by opposing its counterpart. Example, 1,000,000 pesos is no small chunk of change. Okay. 1,000,000 pesos is no small chunk of change. So, gina-understatement niya. Nga 1,000,000 pesos ko, no, inang maka-create sa dako, kay no small chunk of change. So, maka-create siya sa dako. Bali, ang ginagamit niya, ang opposing, pero ang ginamit niya for example, no small chunk of change. So, small siya, pero opposing siya sa big nga iya nga ginamin. Okay. Metaphor. An implied comparison between two dissimilar things that have something in common. Take note of the word dissimilar. When you say dissimilar, they are unrelated or not similar, of course, dissimilar. So you are comparing two objects. Nga lain sila, unrelated sila with each other, but they share something in common. For example, you are comparing a person to a thing, or you're comparing a person to a flower. Lainay sila, syempre, person is a different thing, and a flower is something also that is different, but they have something in common. So you are using metaphor without the use of comparison statements such as or like. Example, all the world's a stage as you like it. In the write-up, as you like it. Okay. All the world's a stage. The world and a stage is compared in this statement. Now, what is the similarity of these two unrelated things? They are unrelated, the world and a stage, but they share one common factor or one common aspect or one common feature, and that is a place of performance. Hindi bala? In a stage, you perform. You are singing there, you are dancing there, you're having a concert. That is a stage. How about the world? A world is something also where people move, where people live, where people do the everyday things that they do in their lives. So, they share a common characteristics, which is a platform or a place where something or someone can perform. Okay, example also of a metaphor is, she's an apple to my eye. Apple and she, diba? She is a person, a girl, and an apple is compared. What is the similarity between them? Diba ang apple is anyone's favorite? Namian kita magkaon apple. Apple is a fruit siguro nga very known to everyone. Ang she siguro may characteristic siya that makes it favorite. No? Ginaano mo sila, gina-compare mo sila na these two things are not the same, but they share a common aspect or a common feature which makes it metaphor. Okay, metaphorical. Next, metonymy. A word or phrase is substituted for another with which it is closely associated, linking words that are related to the word to be replaced, meaning to say it has something to do with symbolism. Nga associated siya. di ba magsulat ka, you are using symbols para hindi mo siya directly mahambal ang ginamin mo, but through your symbols, your readers can relate to what you are trying to say. Example, the use of the word vow instead of wedding. We attended the vow of this couple. Instead of wedding, you use vow. The pen stands for the written word. The pen is mightier than the sword. Okay. So dira may duhagi diya gani ka metonymy. The word the pen is mightier than the sword. So ang pen, masaling ka nga written word siya. Ang sword naman niya, battle siya ya, physical battle. So it's symbolism in that sense. For example, you will not say blood, but you will use red. Or you will not say death, but you will say snow. No, ginagamit siya. May ara na matunan ta sa poem ni Robert Frost, the road na taken. Matunan ta na siya on how the writer used symbolism or metonymy in his writings. Okay, next, onomatopoeia. The use of words that imitate the sounds associated with the objects or actions they refer to. Example, the clap of thunder went bang and scared my poor dog. So what is that? Thunder. Nagagamit ka sa iyang sound. What is the sound of thunder? Bang. Okay, example, another is the choo-choo train. There is no such word as choo-choo. Bisan isulat mo na siya, ma-read gina siya because that is not acceptable. Ano lang siya? Ginagamit na siya because it is the sound of the train. Para ma-identify mo dayon nga, train siya. The ding-dong of the bell or the doorbell. So, gagamit ka sa iyang sound to tell the readers kung ano na siyang object. Okay, next. Oxymoron. It is the combination of contradictory or incongruous words such as cruel kindness. Cruel na ang kindness, pero cruel. Magsiling ka kindness, di ba, kaalwan? Pero cruel daw kalain, no? Kalain sa batasan. Bittersweet. Bittersweet. This is a bittersweet success for me. Sweet na nga bitter. Gin-combine mo sila nga duwa. Okay, what else? Deafening silence. Silence pero makabungol, no? Deafening silence. Those are oxymoron. Next, paradox. Ari nagtuparay sila nga duwa, and I'm glad nga nagtuparay sila nga duwa because we will see what is the difference between them, between oxymoron and paradox. Okay, paradox is a statement or proposition that, despite sound or apparently sound, reasoning from acceptable premises leads to conclusion that seems senseless or logically unacceptable or self-contradictory. Example, this is the beginning of the end, said Eeyore, always the pessimist. Okay, contradictory siya. Take note, class, that paradox is self-contradictory. Ang oxymoron is also contradictory. Ano tandaan ninyo? Okay, sa logical ba lang thinking, ang ako lang niya, so nag-study ko sinis sa una, when I was in high school or college, I think, ginatandaan ko lang, ang oxymoron, tuparay gid sila. Two contradicting words, tuparay gid sila. Just like cruel kindness and bittersweet. While your paradox, may in between sila. Amo na ako yung ginatandaan sa una nga mag-quiz bala between oxymoron and paradox. Nga may ano sila, may ara silang words between them. For example, this is the beginning of the end. Oh. Pero ang pinaka-definition sa paradox is it makes the statement senseless. Magsaling ka senseless, there is no meaning. Wala lang siya yung meaning. Ginhambal mo lang siya para lang may ihambal, pero there's no such meaning to it. Nag-ano lang ka, kwan lang, inang ano ka lang, naggamit ka lang sa ila contradictorily para lang for the sound, para namit lang sa pamatinan, pero wala lang siya yung meaning. Okay, next. Number 16, We have personification, very familiar to us. The utilization of inanimate objects or abstraction to associate with human qualities or abilities. Okay, you are using human qualities nga gina-apply mo into inanimate object. Non-living, pero ang iyang characteristic such as living. Example, the leaves of the fire tree are dancing with the wind during dry season in our country. So, the leaves cannot dance. Makadance siya through the wind. Sino lang nagadance? Ang tao. So, gin-apply nimo ang characteristic nga dancing nga only found in human attribute, gin-apply nimo sa leaves that they are dancing. For example, the wind is singing melodies to me. Ang wind cannot sing. Diba? May sound lang siya nga iya, but it is not singing. Gin-associate mo ang singing abilities ng human person into inanimate objects sa non-living. Okay, next. Pun. A statement with a double meaning, in some cases on various faculties of a similar word, and here and there on the comparative sense or sound of various words. Example, I renamed my playlist of the Titanic. So when I plug it in, it says, the Titanic is sinking. Oh, sinking, nga kung imo pamatian, Titanic is sinking, nalunod. Pero ang playlist niya to, ang playlist niya siguro sa iya nga phone, ginngalanan niya The Titanic. Tapos, ang gin-play niya na, ang nakabutang sa imo da nga screen, ga-sync, di ba? Nag-kwan siya, nag-connect siya. So, syncing. The Titanic, kay ngalan sa iya playlist, is syncing. Example, also, in the commercial of Chowking, nagambal nga, all rice. Rice there, ang ginamin, matindog. Pero, ang ginambal dire sa Chowking, all rice, nga kanon. So, ginamin mo, duha siya, double meaning of a word. Ginagamit mo siya as double meaning of the word. The same ang sound, however, different ang ilang meaning. Okay, next. Number 18, you have simile. The comparison between two fundamentally dissimilar things that have certain qualities in common using, like or as. Nagagamit siya commonly using like or as. Again, they are using dissimilar things or unrelated objects. Gina-compare nimo, pero in this case, different from metaphor, it uses like or as. Example, Michael was white as a sheet after he walked out of the horror movie. Namuti siya nga daw papel. Okay, so Snow White is as white as snow. Her hair, is black as ebony. Her lips is as red as rose. Those are examples of simile. Next, 19, we have synecdoche. Okay, a figure of speech in which a part is used to represent the whole. Ang isa ka part, sa isa ka butang, ginagamit nimo to represent everything, to represent the whole of it. So that is synecdoche. Example, Mark is asking for the hand of our daughter. Hand. Hand lang tong yun pangayo niya. Oh, when you are asking, he is asking for the hand of my daughter. Hand lang ay ang yung pangayo niya? No. It is representing his daughter. Diba? Nag-represent siya sa isa ka tao. Okay, for example, two heads are better than one. Head lang to? No. These are two persons. What else? They are living on the same roof. Okay, roof lang ang ginagamit, part of a house, but it represents the house. So, nagagamit siya sang parts, sang whole. And the last, number 20 is understatement. A figure of speech employed by writers or speakers to intentionally make a situation seem less important than it really is. Ginapakuan mo lang, kuan lang bala, mas dismulado lang, or small lang importance niya, pero great ang importance niya, ginapagamay. Example, you win 10 million pesos in a lottery. Lang na. Well, in fact, makahambal ka, hooray! You win 10 million pesos in a lottery. Amo na bala. So, ginapagamay mo lang ang statement mo. So, you win 10 million pesos in a lottery. Sounds simple, but siguro ang impact sa tao is great. So, that is understatement.
It's always essential to read since it feeds our minds. More so is writing vital, for it fulfills the soul. I hope you have learned something from our discussion. If you have any reactions on this video, please feel free to comment down below. See you next week, Humanistas!